to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Good morning. Good morning, Vovo. Good morning, Veronica. How are you two doing? Good health, Irie. Have you been missing me in the mornings, and have you been exercising anyway? Hi, Sanji. Good morning, Tracy and everyone. Good morning. I'm going to show you guys. I love this, and I have to get another magnifying mirror because I really love this. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing here. I love this, and I just want it to stay like this. Look at this. I don't know if you guys could see it well. Push this down. There. Look at this. Let me see. Push this back. Oh, there you go. Look at me. This is a magnifying mirror, and it's, look at the crystals. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that just beautiful? I feel like there's something very galactic going up into the sky, into the universe. I love it. How's everyone doing? I'm good. How are you doing? I'm good. I didn't do a health check yesterday because I had to run to a chiropractor, but I would love to do a health check on everyone today. Yes, late start. Yes, past few days because of freezing weather. Oh, sorry. Okay. Safety first. All right. Always safety first. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, Veronica. She's saying hello to everyone. Okay, I'll try it. Yeah, my glasses are way dirty. Thought I had something here to wipe my table with. I do. Sometimes I get to wipe my table down, and sometimes I don't. So today is I did not. Okay. We'll get this table a little bit clean. Get it spiritual clean. This has Florida water in it, alcohol, and peroxide. I add the alcohol and peroxide because for me, oh child, Florida water is is strong for me. So I kind of minimize the strength by adding peroxide and alcohol. No residuals. All right. Clean my. Hi, Tiffany Henderson. Good morning. Ayana. Good morning. Good morning. So, how is everyone's day doing? We didn't do a health check yesterday. How's everyone's day doing? If you're not doing good, let me know. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Tanisha, how are you, sweetie? Good morning and good health, Miss Tracy and the Mystical Misfits. How are you? Good morning, Janine, and happy Thursday. Today's checkup day because we didn't do it yesterday. I'm okay, just getting my son's ready for dentist appointment. Oh, how old is he? And I don't know how old he is, but I will tell everyone get your children into the dentist early. You know what they say? You should get them in at 2. They say get them in at 2 years old, and I agree. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, they're 10 and 11. Is their first appointment or what? Still a good age to get them in there. Still a good age. See what their gums are doing, all that stuff. Very smart. The earlier you get them in with dental appointments, the more they will respect it and the more they will take care of their teeth. So get them in early. Yes. All right, guys. So I have decided, with the help of my group last night, because we talked about this. Oh, good girl! Look at you. Every 6 months. Oh, that's because dentists. That's I know the dentist told you. Bring them in every 6 months. That's what they do. I know, because I know dentists. But you're doing a good job. I appreciate you. I have decided that one of the things I'm going to do on my OnlyFans, I'm going to see what takes off. But I have decided, with the help of my group last night, there, thank God for group meet, to talk about sex. Really talk about it though, right? So, oh, I meant to put it in here. Let me see. FaceTime. Let me see. So, let me see. Oh, where's my oh, it's right here. Okay. All right. So, I want you all to write into me what you normally would not speak to others about. No names will be mentioned. It'll be just the topic. So, do you know how on Instagram or Facebook they have the AITI, and the AITI means "Am I the asshole for?" Right? It's going to be a version of that. Am I the asshole for? And then state the asshole thing that you did. But it doesn't have to be an asshole situation. I'm just giving you an example. Oh, you took your son in at 3, and he's 32, and it's a beautiful smile and teeth. Of course, that's exactly my point. So I'm gonna have you guys write in what your issues might be with sex, what your issues might be with your partner, what your issues might be with your fantasies, right? And let's talk about it, or let's do a spread on it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I am a certified counselor. So, in a way, talking about it would be amazing without mentioning your names. So, you could send in a fake name. I don't care. I'm not going to mention your name. How do you guys feel about that? I'm not asking your opinion. I just want to know, right? Because we kind of did a little practice last night and started talking about a particular topic that I'm not going to bring up here. And it was intriguing to know that people have gone through certain types of similar sexual things. It was very intriguing last night. What do you guys think? And I'm open for any suggestions or redirections, but I kind of like that. I kind of like talking about sex, you know? Like the Dear Abby of sex. But do you want to change that, Brina? Right? So, like, how did we get there? Right? And is that something that could be changed? And could it be changed once a month? Right? So, what you think is an issue to me, I don't think it's an issue, not as much as I love food, child, and sleep. My bed is amazing. I just kind of wish I had a better mattress. The mattress that I had in California, the mattress that I had in California was a gold mine. It was a gold mine. You would never want to leave my bed with the mattress that I had in California. It was a gold mine. I mean, girl, it was plush and lush, and it sat up high because it was jam packed with stuff inside, and it sat up high. So when you sat on it, you sat up high. You were like, oh. So what's up? Just before I left, my sister's caregivers was like, Tracey, Tony needs a bed. She's starting to complain about her back. And they told me this 2 months before I was leaving. I couldn't give up my bed 2 months prior. I just couldn't. I couldn't fathom it. So I looked at my sister and I said, I'm going to get you a bed. You have to wait till August. No, I think I still have August, but actually didn't move till September. I was like, you have to wait till August. I will get you a bed. You gonna get me a bed, sis? Yes, I will get you a bed. Nothing broke my heart. And y'all know how much I love Sissy Pooh. Nothing broke my heart than to give my bed to Sissy Pooh. It was so hard to part with it. I think I almost cried. It was, but in any case, okay, so I give it to her, right? We deliver it, right? And we put it together for her. And she went to sit on that bed. She was so happy. She was so, I mean, I was finally happy to offer it to her, but it broke my heart. It broke my heart. When you got a good bed, it broke like every fiber in my body. I could not. I could not. So on the final day, literally, when I gave her the bed, when I gave her the bed, I think I was leaving at midnight that night. I'm trying to think. Now, a year and a half later, I think I was leaving that night at midnight. I think so. I mean, I think so. hmm We gave her the bed. It was late. I remember it was like 4 or 5. And when she sat on that bed and realized the gift I had given her, the bed was 2 years old, guys. The mattress was 2 years old. Was it 2 years old? Yeah, it was young. Oh, yes. It was only like 2.5 years old. Because I remember it was before my good friend Fletcher died. And I was telling my best friend Fletcher, I was like, Fletcher, I think I'm going to get another mattress. So we kept looking at this place called LA Mattress. Then my friend Fletcher goes into LA Mattress and buys his own bed and doesn't tell me. And then he says to me, Tracy, he's Native American Indian, Tracy, you must go get a bed. And I was like, why, Fletcher? Why? And he was like, Tracy, I brought a bed. What the hell are you talking about? You brought a bed, Fletcher. What do you mean you brought, Tracy, you must go get your bed. So then I fixed him, right? I went to the mattress place without him, like he went to the mattress place without me. And I walked in. I don't know if you guys have ever like really gone into a mattress place. Like I'm the only privileged one. There's never anybody in a mattress place, right? I didn't go to like a beauty rest. I don't trust those people at beauty rest. Don't trust them. This place, that place. This was a local place. It's called LA Mattress. And I went in and I was like, I'd like to buy a bed. You know when you're like fearful or you feel inadequate buying a mattress? It's weird. It's a weird feeling when you're by yourself, right? And I was like, I'd like to buy a mattress. And he was like, sure, come on in. And he showed me this one, he showed me that one, and I sat down. I see. And he's like, lay down. I was like, oh, I don't know if I need to. I could tell by sitting on it. Oh, the mattress that I picked was a gem. It was a gem, an absolute gem. Oh, it has to be the mattress. How long have you had that mattress, sweetie? Mattress stores are stressful. I want too much in a bed. I want to feel like I'm laying in God's arms. Girl, that's what this felt like. You know, I get those stupid commercials where they're like floating in a cloud, like, ooh, I'm floating in a cloud. That's the feeling that I got. It's an online hen party with Tracy. Okay, again, I don't get the joke. What's the joke? Why am I a hen? 5 years old. 5 years old. That's not. You should have a few more years. How long is the lifelong of a mattress, by the way? Because mattresses are expensive. 10 years, Volvo, is the lifelong of a mattress? I think it's the same as a car. A car has a longer lifespan. Sarah J. How are you, Sarah? 10 years? Now, this is what I wanted, right? This is why I wanted a new mattress. I had a guy that I used to sleep with talk about, you know, OnlyFans, right? And when I got in his bed, the bed didn't move. We're not going to talk too much sex here. We'll save that for OnlyFans. My point is, the bed didn't move. It did not structurally change. I'm a big girl. He's a thick guy. The bed stayed still. That's what made me think I'm not taking care of myself. I need to live in a lap of luxury. My bed needs to be so. We could discuss that better on the OnlyFans account. I'll tell you exactly. So when I got to the Caribbean, I picked a mattress that I thought was good, but it's not. I mean, it's okay. I don't think. I just think it's a Caribbean thing. I don't think they understand what. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just picked the wrong mattress. It's not bad. Like, I'm not complaining, but it's nothing like I had in California. Nothing. You said right in, and we'll talk about sex. It's a hen party with women. No, no. First of all, never reduce us to some. You know how like men used to call us chicks? Like, no, we're always going to be women. We will not be hens ever. And I want my men there. I want men there. Girl, no, no, I want men there. Not for women only. I don't want any men to think, we are not, no, we're going to talk about everything. You think men don't have issues? I want to talk about everything. I was going to say something now, I forgot. Oh, no, hen? Oh, no, no, no. Hold on. Hi, Dominique. Hi, how are you? Hold on, guys. All right. Okay. So on the screen, it shows TraceyBrownLive at gmail.com. Send it there and start sending it now. Because I don't know if I'm going to have a mini session tomorrow. If I should, so remember when we had Tracy After Dark, but Tracy After Dark was really good. You all love Tracy After Dark. I feel like, but I was talking about metaphysical stuff, right? So I feel like Tracy After Dark is going to continue, right? Still talking about metaphysical stuff that then leads into the Dear Abby portion of it, right? So come join us. Come join me and let's talk. Let's talk. Do you guys know Dear Abby? Some of you might be too young for Dear Abby. Do you guys remember Dear Abby? I used to love Dear Abby. To this day, in the local newspaper here, they have a Dear Abby section, and it's so corny. We're a part of the Daily News here, right? And so the Daily News in New York City still must have the Dear Abby, but they still have it. And I always wanted to do a Dear Abby. I want to be Dear Abby. I was like, I want to do this for a living. Do you remember Dear Abby? Yes. I wanted to be a Dear Abby type. Give me your problems. It'll still be online with Psychic, right? I might even pull a card or two, but I want to talk. Remember Dear Abby? I still read it online. Yes. So it'll be like a Dear Abby, but modern day, right? And sensual and sexy and like I can't even give you a good example, but like inverted nipples, right? Like, what if someone were to ask a question and they're like, Tracy, I have one perfect nipple and I have one inverted nipple, and I'm embarrassed by it. Like, let me help you with that. Do you know what I mean? You know how it would help someone like that with that? Come to OnlyFans. There's all kinds of girl, you could do a lot of things. hmm hmm There's a lot of like inverted nipples, and you're ashamed of it. I know exactly what to do with that. Out, girls. But it's not going to be a hen party, Tiffany. The fuck? What is that? A bunch of hens. No, we're going to be human beings. We're going to be women with issues. We're going to be men that you think they don't have problems. You don't think that there are things that they want to talk about. Men, I better hear from you. Remember, it's anonymous. I better hear from you. I'm not forcing you, but I'm just saying, come on. I mean, it could be questions like, I no longer want to sleep with my wife. What do I do? Men? I know that happens. Men? I love her. I'm just no longer wanting to stick it in. I don't know. Let's talk about it. Anonymously. We're not trying to break up no marriages here. None. The one thing I will not do is that. We just going to talk about the issue and maybe find some creative solutions. Do you know that most people's sex lives go away because they argue too much and they call each other out their face? Did you know that? Most people's sex lives go away when somebody calls you an inadequate, like, mama's boy. Could you get it up after that? if somebody calls you a piece of shit, if somebody calls you a bitch, can you really continue when somebody calls you out your face? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Everybody remembers Dear Abby. I love Dear Abby. I remember Dear Abby and those Love Is quotes. What's Love Is quotes? Yes, I used to read Dear Abby all the time back in the day. Hi, Anissa. Dear Abby's still around. Yes, but it's her daughters now. I got you. I got you. We're gonna elevate Dear Abby. We're gonna elevate her. Soul Sister gets it. Verbal abuse will dry you up and shrivel you. And we only do verbal abuse to one up somebody. Think about it. You only call somebody out their face because you're losing the argument. Or you only call someone out their face when you lost the argument the last time. So you've been stewing on it. And you can't wait for the next argument because now you have an arsenal of things that you're going to... Lord have mercy. All right. So, OnlyFans at Tracey Brown Live. I have a follower, by the way. I have one follower. Let me see if I have more yet. I'm so excited. Let me see. Okay, over. Oh, here it is. Let's see how many followers. Oh, wait, this isn't me. Oh, let me go to my account. One follower still. But I just have to figure out. Just got to figure out some things. I don't know what dark mode is. So it's going to be Tracey After Dark. It's going to be the series. Okay? I'm so excited. I'm so excited because it's new. How do I do OnlyFans? I don't know. Let's see something. I don't know. Let me see something. How do I go live? Oh, take photo or video. Oh. Oh. I don't understand. Okay. I got to figure out what I'm doing. I'm starting something and don't have all the tools it takes. I think let me get some more information and then I'll tell you exactly what to do. Somebody found me. Just go to OnlyFans and then search for at Tracey Brown Live. See if it comes up. I mean, it should come up. I think. Let me see if I type in Tracey Brown Live. It's still consistent. Okay, there you go. It does come up, right? And then, oh, share link to profile? No. How can I share it? Okay, let's see. Copy. Okay, let me see if I could do something. This is all new to me too, that it kind of like makes me a little nervous. when it's a new social website. Every social website is so different that it kind of like TikTok. I've never felt comfortable with TikTok. Okay, this is the link. That's the link. I'm so excited. All right. Right, Irie. It stays in your head. What they say to you, it does. You go to work with it. You know what I hate? I hate driving. And you know how, like, you're driving and you have a commute of 30 minutes or more? I hate driving and having something like an argument inside my head from the night before. I don't like that. Do you know how I've organized not hurting someone else's feeling? I think that if I have to bring you down or say something so mean, then we should not be together. Then that ugly that lives inside of me, it can grow, right? And there's a challenge with that kind of ugly, right? And I don't want to live my life challenged that way. I think so, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. There, they asked me, um, the minimum fee was $4.99, or their subscriptions. I have to figure it out. Oh, do you like my profile pic? Ah! Thank you, Brina. Oh, yeah. Wait, what does that mean, Betty? Sometimes you gotta go to work. You retracted the message here, but it's StreamYard. So StreamYard and YouTube don't always communicate well, right? Sometimes you gotta go to work. What does that mean? And I agree with you. I found you. Yes! I'm so excited. Oh, thank you. I'm so excited. Um, what does that mean? Sometimes you got to go to work. Like sometimes you got to go to work with the argument inside your head. I agree. You're photogenic, so all your pictures are pretty. Oh, thank you. Thank you, sweet Carmel. Oh, yeah. Can I tell you something? Honestly, people, honestly, let's talk real talk, right? I was in my early 30s, and my mom used to tell me I was the next best thing walking down the street, right? So my sister and I always had this thing where the sidewalk was our runway. So my mom used to encourage us to walk, walk. You know, like the commercial, walk, 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 walk. And I'm short and stumpy. My sister's not much taller than me, but she's 5'3", and to me, she was tall, right? 5'3" or 5'4". Like, damn, I'd love to be that. And then somewhere along the line, I had a problem with my mom. So she kind of took that all away, right? Sometimes when you want to control someone, right, you put them down, right? You no longer tell them that they're beautiful. But the good part, what my mother did, even though she didn't know it, is that when you put something in young into somebody young, that is the memory, right? So from the time I was a kid, she was like, "You're so cute, you're so adorable, look at you, Tracy could do no wrong, blah 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 blah." When I got to be about 13, there was this whole thing that just went left. I mean, left. I don't even want to go into it, but I've talked about it in the past. So she took away all of that. Like I was no longer the prettiest thing walking. I became, oh, you think you're so cute. And I was like, I was cute yesterday, right? In my head, I wouldn't say that. I was like, I was cute yesterday, but today I'm not cute. But I wouldn't say that to her. And so she tried to break my spirit, right? And thank God, I knew what she was doing. I was young, but I knew what she was doing, even though I didn't have the words to know, even though I didn't realize what she was doing to me could have an effect on me for the rest of my life, right? I didn't know any of this, but I knew I was coming from this to this, and I knew what the switcheroo was. I didn't fully understand the ramifications of a mother turning on you, right? So I was like, fuck that. And I found my dad. And, well, first I ran away. And then I found my dad, and I did not give him an option, right? I said, I have two choices. You take me in, or I'm living in the streets. Now, when someone says that, that means it's hell at home. When someone is willing to live in the streets, it's hell at home. I mean, hell, right? So thank God my dad was like, I hid out in the church for 3 days. Nobody knew I hid out in the church. I have an affinity. I've had, no, I no longer have the affinity, but I have an affinity to Catholic churches because at some point my mom moved to Harlem. And Harlem back in the day was not this innovative black power thing. It was not that. It was drug filled. It was rough. It was fucking scary. Right? And I remember going into a candy store on the corner. And as I was leaving the candy store, some guys came in and shot up the store. That's how close I was to death, right? I remember going with my cousin, God bless her soul, to buy weed. And the way you brought weed was through a peephole. Because in Harlem, you learn new things, right? And it doesn't matter. So I have an affinity to Catholic churches because I hid out in the church for 3 days and nobody knew where I was, except my boyfriend at the time, who wound up being my husband, because there was a lot of protection there for me from him. And I had this group of kids in this youth club. They all knew where I was. And it was a transit strike. So I thought I was waiting for the transit strike to be over, but 3 days in, it still wasn't over. So I had my friends contact, and I said, do not tell my mother. If you tell my mother, I'm dead. That's a true story. I was like, if you tell my mom, you will never see. She would have beat me to a pulp, right? So I believed, right? And so I, they contacted my dad for me, and then my dad told his girlfriend at the time to come get me. I forget, it was like, meet me on 125th Street. I believe it was 145th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue, I believe. And she came. And my dad, he was in Vegas at the time. And my dad said, pick her up. When you pick her up, do not say anything to her. Just give her some sheets. Let her know she can have anything in the refrigerator. And I'll talk to her when I get home. Right? And he saved my life. Right? And so I say this to say, because at some point I forgot that I was pretty. And one day I was in my 30s and I was working for the airlines. And this white woman said to me, she said something, blah, blah, blah. And I go, huh? And she goes, Tracey, you don't know you're pretty? And I was like, oh, am I? Because I forgot. What wound up staying with me was that 13 to 16-year-old battering over the head. Like, oh, you think you're so cute? You ain't that cute. You ugly. Like, seriously, right? And I was talking to this white mature woman who was probably my age, right? She might have been in her 50s, but I might have saw her as this older, mature, like old woman. So funny what we think in our 20s. And she goes, you don't know how pretty you are? And I go, yeah, 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 I guess I do. But she re-engaged with the fact that I need to look at myself. I need to look at myself better and create the beauty or recreate the beauty. Like see myself as beautiful and go with that. By the way, I'm average at best. I'm so average. But I feel like I am a beautiful average, right? And so for the rest of my life, from the time I was 30, I demanded to see myself as pretty. But I say that to say, because thank you for the picture. I don't know why I went into this long story, but thank you for the picture. Hi, Brandy. Hi, sweetie. Oh my God, I'm in love with your picture. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. You guys are the best. You guys are the holy best. Thank you. So, OnlyFans.com, Tracey Brown Live, Dear Abby version. Email me. Let me see. Um, Email me. So let me go back up here. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you guys too, right? Because TikTok has a problem with sex. Like, fuck you, people. Fuck you, TikTok. I hope America takes TikTok away. You people suck. Tracey Brown Live at Gmail. I'm going to tell you something else. Make up something. Make up a scenario and send it over to me. You don't have to tell me that it's a scenario. Oh, Janine, it was scary. You don't have to tell me it's a scenario, right? Just make up something and see how I handle it. That's so scary what you went through, the tragedy at that store. I know. I know. Harlem was rough. And I moved there when I was 13. And then everybody was sexually promiscuous at 13, right? And I had just been through trauma. I mean, trauma at 13. I was traumatized. And I was going to Harlem where everybody was sexually free at 13. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And so I found a church. And then that's where I met my husband, boyfriend at the church. So, you know what's interesting? You know how, although I didn't stay married, but that even wasn't the point. But do you know how, like, if my parents hadn't divorced, I would not have been at that church? I would have not met that I would have met a man, of course, but not that man. I would have not had a baby with that man. So do you realize how the universe and the stars kind of mandated that I have such an extreme childhood to get me here, to get me there, to get me like, so it took me a while, right? To learn the gratitude in the process of it all. It took me a while, right? Because of course you want to say, why me? Why did my mom hate me? But she didn't even hate the other kids, by the way. It was just me. But in hindsight, and knowing the whole story, there's a whole backstory I found out later. Oh my God, the backstory. When I tell you, there's a whole backstory, right? I mean, a whole backstory. Do you know? I mean, there's just, I'm not going to tell you. A whole backstory that led to my mother's anger toward me that she created. I didn't know the backstory. She created the backstory. But I say that to say I have learned to appreciate every aspect of my life to today because I had to understand. Mr. Dove is listening. I love when the doves come because then you look at me like this. I had to make sure that I understood what I went through was not a lifelong thing, right? Especially with girls. A lot of girls go through things and they believe that this is who they are. And so in their 20s, they wind up prostituting, they wind up sleeping with everybody, right? Because the label that somebody puts on them sticks. And so I just had to reset myself. And thank God that my dad came along because it allowed me to reset. And what I also liked about my dad is that he allowed me to be honest. Although when you're traumatized, it was like pulling teeth out of me in the beginning. Like, you see this talkative person? Mm-mm. And he would just, hey, come have breakfast with me. Okay. How you doing? Doing good. What's your plans for today? Guess I'm gonna go to school and meet up with my boyfriend. Oh, okay. And he was so gentle. And he showed me what manhood was about, right? And then, because he showed me what manhood was about, my stupid ass husband could not treat me worse. My ex-husband had a good example of how to treat me. And so when my ex-husband came along and watched what my dad was doing, he had no choice but to be nice to me. None at all. All right. Yes. Oh, I was thinking about that last night. I was saying the sexy psychic. I was saying that. Great picture. I was saying that. I said to myself, I was like, oh, I should use the name the sexy psychic. It's the backstories that mold you. Yes. Yeah. Whether it's positive or negative. Yes. And what you guys don't know, right? Sometimes in my psychic readings, right? In the readings, I'm trying to unmold that conditioning that was put inside of you, right? You guys don't know it. I don't make an announcement, right? But every reading, when I see someone in a pattern of accepting negative responses from their partners, I'm like, no, no, you don't accept things like that from someone. I don't know. I try my best, but I do feel like also that my past led me to even becoming a psychic. an open, like, psychic. I think it was always psychic, but open, you know? Healthy, good dads are like gold. Gold. When you have a good dad. And let me tell you something. Okay, so my parents were married, right? And then when I was 10 or 11, my mom had enough of my dad. But my dad was paying the bills, right? But she had enough of him, right? And so she made a game with the kids. And the game was pack daddy's clothes in the trunk. And it was an amazing game. We went around collecting all his stuff and putting it in. And she folded everything. So I'll never forget. She folded everything ever so neatly. And then back in the day, we didn't lock our doors. And so my dad would come home at midnight, right? He was a Taurus. So his pattern was his pattern and came home every night at midnight. And then this particular night, my mom locked the door, but she did not say, I'm going to lock the door. She had one of us lock the door. Like my mom traumatized us, right? And so we locked the door and we should have been in bed 9, 10 o'clock tops. No, she had us up. And my dad he was like getting in. But I don't know if he didn't have the key to the house. This is some weird shit. She couldn't have changed the locks, although maybe she did change the locks. Doesn't really matter. He tries to get in, doesn't work. He knocks on the door. No one answers. We're at the window giggling because it was a game. So we're like that at the window, laughing at my dad. And then you hear your dad go, Nelly, Nelly, like he's getting the big picture. And so he starts to scream my mother's name, traumatizing. And he's screaming and banging on the door, Millie, Millie. And he stayed there for about 2 hours. And finally, I don't know when it dawned on him, picked up his suitcase, put it in his car, and he never came back. Ever. And at this point, he didn't care. He didn't care if we ate. He didn't care if he didn't see us. He just didn't care. And then when he didn't care, that's when things got really bad in the house, right? I didn't know that my dad was stopping my mom's crazy. And without him being there, she was crazy. She was nuts. And so, hence, eventually we moved to Harlem to be with my aunts my aunts and my cousins already lived to Harlem. In any case, Ken, I identify with your story. I was quiet after trauma too. Yes. Because I didn't think my voice had value. Yes. Beautiful to see the healing. Yes. That's why you can touch so many people. Thank you. Yeah. You know what I figured out? Hold on. What is a psychic reading? Like, what all can one find out from it? I feel like I need one, but I've never had one before. Hold on. This is heavy. Yeah, it's heavy, but I don't mind telling the story anymore, right? Because there was such a long time that I didn't know I had a right to tell my own story, right? There was no social media back in the day. So who do you grab at work, right? Right? Because your immediate family, right? I had my sister, I had my brother, I had my brother older than me 1 year, had my sister, and I had a little brother, and they all witnessed the trauma on me, all of them, right? I mean, the beatings were horrific, right? and they all witnessed it. So how do you go to the family that saw it? Like, what do you say to them? Like, help, help me? When I would think that if they would have helped, they were afraid that my mom would have ravaged them. So it was kind of like, Tracy's going to have to do this all by herself. And the quiet in the house, full of people, the quiet, as I was getting pulpited by my mom, right? And then she used to cry a lot about not having enough money, right? So my dumb ass decides at 15 that I was going to work. So my very first job was for the U.S. Census Bureau. I got a work permit. They liked me. I worked 4 hours a day for, I think, 5 straight days. Yeah, because we didn't work on a weekend. I worked out of the Polo Ground projects. I did their paperwork. Ironically, that job led to my mom getting a job with me. It was weird. It's also weird, right? But at some point, they started dwindling down people, right? Because you might have worked with them for about a good year, and then they started dwindling down people, and then they kept me and fired everybody else because it was just done. Even that, I think, was a part of the anger with my mom. And then one day I had to go get my check, right? And I said to my mom, I called her and I was like, she was working at Macy's by this time. Funny. Or maybe she called the house. Maybe she called the house. And I was like, hey, I got to go get my check, right? And she goes, she was mad at me for some reason, but she was always mad at me. At some point, you're just like, oh, you're just mad again today, right? You don't say it out loud, but you're like, fine. I'm on punishment again, right? But you don't say it out loud. You're like, yes, ma'am, I'm on punishment. And you can't go out and you can't be with your boyfriend. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And so she goes, at some point, she goes, you get your check and you come right back. You come right back to me. And I was like, okay, ma'am. And I hung up the phone. And I was like, first of all, I work and I actually give you my whole check. Like, when are you going to respect me? When are you going to give me my accolades? When are you going to be proud of me? I was young in my head acting this way. When are you going to say good job? Nobody else does what I do. I'm saying this inside my head. Nobody else does what I do, but somehow or another, I got to pick up my check, cash it, give you all the money, and you're going to treat me like this, right? So I went down to my sister. And I said to my sister, you got $10? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, can I have $10? So she goes in her purse to get the $10. And she comes back and she goes, what are you about to do? And I was like, and mind you now, I was this skinny, this short. There was nothing on me, right? When I used to get beat up, I was flung across the room. There was nothing on me. So my sister goes, what are you about to do? And I was like, and she looked at me and she goes, I don't think I want to know. And I was like, and that's when I ran away. And the day I ran away was the day of a transit strike. Tiffany, right? You have to talk to heal. Don't hold it in, right? So yeah, it is heavy, but what I've learned, Vovo, is that there's not an experience that I haven't had that in my psychic readings I've had an experience with. The only thing I've never had an experience with is sex trafficking, prostitution, stripping. Thank you, God. But I was close. Because if my dad had not made the decision to tell his girlfriend to come get me, I would have been living in the streets, which would have been better, I think. I don't know. I'll never know. His dad came in and saved the day. And it was so funny because, of course, by this time, it's a week had gone by. I didn't tell my mom right away that I was there. And then he had to call her. And he's like, I'm going to call her. And I was like, okay. And so my mom was, you could hear her on the phone. She was like, send her back, send her back. And my dad was like, go ahead, bitch. Go ahead, B. Go ahead, B. And that was the first time I realized someone can protect you. Someone can have your back. You never have to go through what you think you're going through. Someone can have your back. If it's not your mom, just could be somebody else. And when I realized it was my dad, man, I had renewed faith in men. I was like, oh, okay. And then he would come back. I was sitting in the kitchen when this happened, and I could hear him, and he would come back and he'd be like, handle that. And I'd be like, yeah. And inside, I was like elated. I was like, yes, yes, finally, I'm saved. Thank you, God. There is a God. So, let's be more graphic. In Tracy After Dark on OnlyFans, there's a lot of information I left out, by the way. Why did I do that? So, just to keep it nice and clean for YouTube, because YouTube has problems. All right. And thank you, everyone. So let's go back to, let me see something. Let me see something. Paste? Nope. All right. Let's go back to now share. Copy. Mr. Dove is by himself today. He doesn't cheat on me. Mr. Dove doesn't. And Ken, I am so sorry that you can identify with my story. I'm so sorry. I was quiet after trauma too because I didn't think my voice had any value. Beautiful to see the healing. That's why you can touch so many people. Have you done healing, Ken? And it's never too late to heal, by the way. Oh, wow. You grew up across the street? Hold on a second, Miss AC. My brother and I had no one who saved us from my toxic mother. No relatives intervened for us. That was common back in the day. That was common. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, Janine. That was very common where family members didn't do what was right for the children, even if it meant fighting their relatives, even if it meant like calling them out. Like, I believe in saying, all you do is beat your kids. I believe in slipping up and be like, but at least it gets out, right? Oh, Janine, I'm sorry. Is your brother still living? And then what people don't realize is that toxic parents and toxic childhoods, you know, it's what gets put inside, right? And then reorganizing your life so that you don't turn out like your mother. That's the key, right? Which is what I accredit becoming a psychic for, right? Because just in learning how to be metaphysical gave me different modalities to deal with stress, to organize trauma, to heal. So I literally healed in this world. And it was beautiful to heal. It was like, I mean, it was just beautiful to heal. And so when my husband started to act out, I was already in the beginning process of healing. And so when he started doing things, I was like, you do realize that's unacceptable behavior, right? And then when I saw that he was incapable of changing, I realized I wasn't in this marriage to change him. My whole life was about elevating and changing, and that he couldn't participate in my elevation. I didn't have the words to say that. I had the feeling, and I went with that feeling of self-care. I didn't know there was such a thing as self-care. I didn't know that getting a divorce was about self-care. I had no clue. He's living, he's 61. He helps our mother. He helps our mother out. She still treats me poorly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny that stayed consistent, right? By the way, in Black families, I don't know about other families. I can only tell you about my Blackness. There is something about them boys that mamas will let get away with a lot and really nail the girls to the ground. They make the girls get educated. They make the girls act a certain type of way. They make the girls be respectful. The boys grow up and are horrible, horrible beings if there's a household of this and that. And I grew up like that too, right? My mom let my brother, I don't know, let him be whatever he wanted, and he was not a qualified citizen. But the girls, oh child, the girls, we had no choice. hmm Shout out to the Polo Grounds. I grew up across the street and went to 123. 123 was a public school in the Polo Grounds. Wasn't there a school in the Polo Grounds? Was that PS 123? So I grew up, if you know the area, on Bradhurst Avenue, which was right next, like literally across the street. hmm I grew up on 155th in Bradhurst. hmm In them tenement buildings that you would see on Law and Order. You know how that you find them going up them tenement buildings? Ah, Ken, I have healed. Mm. I am not sorry for anything I've experienced. Mm. Even as a child, Spirit would speak to me, right, and let me know that my pain was necessary for life. Right. I get that. I get that. If it hadn't been for something I didn't know existed, which was spirit, and if I hadn't listened to spirit, and again, I like to go back to my readings today. When you read with me, but you don't listen to the card reading, right? Because you're so inside your head, because your relationships are about to fall apart. But listen to the reading. I can't stress that enough, because the reading is to help you to navigate through this. not fix the person that's not acting right. Hold on a second. Oh, I got a full day, full morning. Oh, okay, I get it. Well, I get it. Okay, good. Okay. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? When you get readings, I'm not trying to fix your marriage at all. I'm trying to get you to understand why you're at where you're at. And then what can you do from this point on? Right? Not trying to get you to understand that your partnership is cheating and it'll never stop. And I'm not here to answer the questions why. I get that a lot. But why does he do this? A lot of times, if I tell you the why from their heads, it's gonna hurt your feelings. So you don't want to know why. What you need to know is that you're at a state of a broken relationship. And what can you do from that point? The point of your relationship being broken. Asking the whys means we got to pull back layers and layers and layers of this onion. And remember, onions smell. And in order to pull back the layers, you have to look at your participation. But you want me to see only his participation or her participation. And it doesn't work that way in the metaphysical world. It just doesn't. In the metaphysical world, we see both sides. But rather than explain that I could see how you contributed because you're not ready to hear that, I can only tell you where you're at today. And at today, what does that look like for your future? Because once there's a structural change in your relationship, you can't get it back. Does that make sense, everyone? Once there's a structural change, you can't get it back. So we have to stay and look at the structural change. If someone cheats on you, that change has been restructured. Period. Period. And once that change has been restructured, you are no longer the same. Ever. So if you stay with someone, you have to deal with new Tracey, not old Tracey. And you have to deal with not the whys. It's already occurred. And it's a gray area of the whys, right? Because nobody wants to hear, well, he's acting this way because you call him out his face a lot. Who's going to admit to that? Even to me. No, I don't, Tracey. And by the way, even if I do, he calls me a bitch a lot. Well, yeah, that's a problem then. That's the other problem. Why are you staying with someone that would call you a bitch? And then I get, because I love him. No, you can't love someone that calls you a bitch. How? Do you understand? And so the readings are to get you to understand current situation. And how do you live with current situation? Because structurally, your life has changed forever. Mentally, your life has changed forever. So how do we deal with today is what I'm trying to say to you. How do we stay with today? Do you stay with the person because you got a 2 and 3-year-old? You might. God gave me that experience where I was like, my son is just 2. I'm not leaving my husband at the time. No, no. I need to make sure I am financially set. I am mature. before I step out into a world with a 2-year-old. So I stayed in my marriage to figure it out. And I observed my ex-husband. And the more I observed him, the more I was like, God, I don't like this guy. Right? And then I made a move. But I had to make sure I was structurally in. If something structural changes, you've got to reinvent new structure. So I made sure I had a damn good job. I made sure I had an apartment. And I made sure the most important thing is that I made sure that if I was going to leave, I was never going to come back. I didn't want to teach my husband a lesson. I wanted me back. Yes, P.S. on Bradhurst. You know Bradhurst. Yes, yes. Yeah, my brother went to PS 123. Mm-hmm. Because he was like 7. So he went to the school in the Polo Grounds. Makes perfect sense. That's why we should be mindful of the way we react to things. The damage can be permanent. Yes. Yeah. Tell me about it. 1 brother, 3 sisters. In my mother's eyes, my brother did no wrong. Fast forward, my little brother is a hot mess. Very typical in Black families. I don't know what it is about us. Very typical in Black families. My mother always treated my brother worse than me. I think it's because she hates men. Oh no, that is so sad. I meant that she treats him poor. Oh, you meant that she treats him more poorly than you? And he still helps her? Wow. He's a good man. He's a really good man. Wow. I mean, imagine having to reorganize your trauma to know that no matter what, in the end, you have to help your parents. Wow. You still live in Harlem? I know it's changed so much. Harlem is beautiful now. I know, but I don't know how old you are, Miss AC, but I was a baby going to Harlem and it was rough. 13-ish. I don't think I was 14. I think I was 13. I don't even know what year that would be. The 62, 72, 75. It was not good. Yeah, so yeah. So the thing about that is, Brina, uh, yeah. The thing about that with parents is getting to know the other side of it, right? So your mother wanted allies. So when she told her story about her mother, she wanted an ally. So internally, she hated her mother. And so she wanted you all to see her mother through her eyes. My mother was not the best mother to me, but I also knew what she was capable of. And so I never told my son my horrific stories. And I watched my mother love all of her grandchildren, including my son. And I believe she was a much better grandmother than she was a mother. And I do believe she had the right to reinvent that to me, right? I don't know if I wanted her hanging on the cross for the rest of her life, right? Because by the time I had a child, I understood toxic behaviors, toxic family. I also believe that people came to the to people people came with everything that they had to deal with, right? And my mom, I found out later, had her own trauma. And in Black families, we don't get counseling. We get tossed away. We get deal with it. We get don't talk about that, right? And so we hold it in. And then trauma people make children, and in the privacy of their home, the trauma just constantly bleeds out because there's no place else to put it but on your children, right? Because we don't get counseling, right? And so by entering the metaphysical world, I've begun to realize that I don't know if I could hate my mom enough to tell my son how. I think when I finally told my son, he was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I was like, "I don't know. It is what it is, right?" But she absolutely did love my son. And the measure of that for my son that maybe I didn't get, I'm not mad at. I'm not mad that she loved him more. I'm not mad that I don't know. I just wasn't mad at that. So I feel bad that your mother would choose to help you to hate your grandmother because it's just different. Like you would never know if grandmas could create, because grandmas are there to do the opposite of mothers, right? And maybe it was a little resentful when the mom could see that she was willing to be nicer to you. And then she's like, well, let me tell you what your grandmother did to me. And I'm sure those stories were told over and over and over until she structurally changed your molecular structure to hate. And that was wrong, if you don't mind me saying that. All right. According to my mom, her brothers were allowed to be train wrecks and she had to be perfect. But I'm kind of grateful because I'm so spoiled by my mom. Yeah. Again, it's just Black families and their boys. The thing is, she didn't tell me until I was 18 and my grandma was about to pass. Your mama was going through some trauma. It's a long story. When someone's about to pass, or if they pass, all the stories get dredged up in someone's soul. It all comes flooding back again. It's a weird thing that happens, right? Uh, yeah. But at least you got love from your grandmother at first, because that's all that matters. She shouldn't have structurally changed you when you turned 18. You were too grown by that time. So I hope you can forgive yourself and forgive your grandmother. Because if you didn't see that, I hope you got the better part of that woman, grandma. I'm 45. I live on Manhattan Avenue now. I remember that. Okay, so at some point, I got my own apartment on Convent Avenue, 130th and Convent. I know Manhattan Avenue. What street is Manhattan Avenue? This is true. What's true, Brandy? I never know what I say. No, I love my grandmother. No idea. I was the apple of my grandmother's eye. So I was like, she did what? I'm going to tell you, whatever your mom and your grandmother went through, that was their journey to handle, right? And although your mom has told you the story, do not step into that journey. Don't get structurally changed because of what your mom and your grandmother went through, no matter how bad the story. That is still their journey, if that makes any sense. Why do I know Manhattan Avenue? All right. That was deep, guys. Now you see why Tracey OnlyFans after dark could be a good thing, but more graphic. This is where we could really talk about tits and ass and penises. Do you see how this could be a good thing, guys? Oh, that's true. Therapy in a Black community. Let me get that. Yes. Yes. Therapy in a Black community. So, at the time, I didn't understand how important therapy was in a Black community. I became a psychic and I didn't realize that my psychic energy was therapeutic, right? It wasn't until I went to school for psychology, but it wasn't until years later, I'm in my 50s when I became a certified therapist and then I became a certified domestic violence therapist. And I appreciate the DV certification because to combat, I was doing a lot of psychic readings with a lot of violence. Women were coming to me with a lot of violence. And I wanted to make sure that I understood the whole dynamic of violence, not from a psychic perspective, but an organic educational perspective, so that when I got a history from someone of violence, I knew all the key things that put them in that place and all the key things to help get them slowly extracted from that place. So I was actually thinking about working with domestic violence here in the Caribbean. I was thinking about it. I spoke to a lady about it because I told her I had my certification and her eyes lit up and she was like, well, just come visit us. But the only thing that's stopping me is a car, right? Because the most violence occurs after dark, right? So I just want to make sure that I have the means to get home later, you know, and not have to depend upon people to drive me home because then that could put me in organic danger. So, with that being said, join me on OnlyFans and let's talk about Tracey After Dark topics, right? And let's let's get me a car, right? That's gonna be fun. Hey, yes, Tracey After Dark. Tracey After Dark. Manhattan Avenue runs pretty far from 123rd to 110. A block over from Morningside Park. I know Morningside Park. Oh no, New York is not. Mm-mm, it is not hard to navigate. New York has a very structured. New York actually is very linear. That if you were to look at New York from a drone, you would see structured lines in New York City. hmm New York is very easy to navigate. I promise you. You would want to live in New York. All right. Should I do the CNN? Because this is where I get angry. We had such a good day. Do I really want to do CNN? All right. Let's do CNN. Wait, what's this? Oh, okay. The I'm gonna look at it and see if I want to do it. The 5 things. CNN. Yes, please. Okay, CNN. Okay, sweetie. The 5 things you need to know for March 16th. Guys, it's March 16th already. What is that? Okay. Um, Bank meltdown, Ukraine, abortion, plane safety, TikTok. All right, let's see. Bank meltdown. This is my favorite topic right now. 2 banks collapsed. Oh, wait, I'm your CNN correspondent. If you want a reading with me, contact me, 213-458-7408, 213-458-7408. I do have openings today, right? And also, come join me. OnlyFans, Tracey Brown Live, Tracey After Dark. Come join me. Okay. Two banks collapsed over the past week, sparking fears that the banking turmoil is spreading around the world. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Seriously, I did a reading on it. I said it would be global. I said it. I said this is going to be global. Nobody listens to the crazy psychic. Spreading around the world. However, analysts say this is not a repeat of 2008. I wanted to bring that up too, but I just don't have time today. This is not 2008. All weekend, what do we kept hearing? This is just like 2008. It's not. This is a whole new world. This is a whole new way of looking at a financial crisis that America has never, ever delved into and organized. And then they got deregulated, right? Okay, I'm over it. I already did 2 readings on this. It is not a repeat of 2008 global financial crisis and not necessarily a time to panic. Americans' money is safe. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers said on CNN, the word former is a problem for me. If you're former anything, I don't want to hear shit from you. If Secretary Yellen doesn't say, I don't want to hear from anybody else, right? Okay, I'm starting to get mad, guys. It is so easy for me to go there, right? This comes after another banking scare occurred on Wednesday when Switzerland's second biggest lender, Credit Suisse, announced its biggest shareholder had no plans to give any more funds. This sent stocks tumbling. All right, I'm over it. And Credit Suisse got money from Swiss Central Bank. Huh. But if Credit Suisse got money from Swiss Central Bank, most of the wealthy billionaires have their money in Swiss Central Bank accounts. So if they bailed out Credit Suisse with the $53 billion loan, are they taking it from all those people that have money in the Swiss? Do you see how this is a problem? All right, I can't. Ukraine. Are Ukrainians racist? Does anybody know? Does anybody know if Ukrainians are racist? Just asking for a friend. Okay. Abortion. A lawsuit in federal court in Texas may block access to mifepristone, an abortion drug approved by the FDA. Listen, are white women fighting this? I cannot. This is a white problem. I need white women to fight for their abortion rights. Does anybody know? Is there any protesting? Anything on the state steps of every state? Anybody? All right. I can't. I'm over it. Plane safety. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, the one Pete Buttigieg is the one that took weeks to visit toxic train derailment in Palestine, Ohio. Weeks. He waited until that air was clear before he came and talked about the train derailment. Did Biden ever show up? Does anybody know? Biden never showed up, did he? Because it's called toxic train wreck for a reason. Okay, so U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg on Wednesday called on participants at an aviation summit to help find the root causes of the growing number of safety accidents at airports nationwide. Okay, don't scare me already. We are particularly concerned because we have seen an uptick in serious close calls. Stop scaring me. The summit comes after the FAA said it was investigating another near accident. Please stop scaring me. Between commercial airlines? The most recent close call was earlier this month at Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C., the 7th since the start of this year. We're not going to wait for something to happen. We have to act now, said Buttigieg, adding that efforts should result in making sure we save lives at airports around the country. How about saving lives in Palestine, Ohio, Pete Buttigieg? How about that shit? TikTok. Let me see the comments. Smash that like button. Yes, thank you, sweetie. Wolverine, she's so funny. She goes, they're deeply racist. I know, Wolverine. I know. I say it as a joke. I just don't want to read on it. So instead I go, are they racist? Anybody? The Biden administration has threatened to ban TikTok. I hope they ban TikTok. Not that I want TikTok to be banned, because I know a lot of people utilize TikTok. TikTok doesn't like me. I put out all these predicted edits on Trump videos, but TikTok was going to get banned by Trump. And then an American company that was working with Trump saved TikTok. So whenever I put out predicted it with Trump, you know what they would say to me? They would say account violation. But it wasn't an account violation. It was a predicted edit. And the only reason why I use TikTok is because they have like good graphics that I could put on. So every time I posted on TikTok, they would go account violation, to the point where I'm on my final warning. Yeah. Because the alternate company that took over so that TikTok doesn't have to go down were Trump supporters. All right. Okay, so TikTok in the U.S., unless the app's Chinese owner agreed to spin off their share. Wait, the Biden administration threatened to ban TikTok in the U.S. unless the app's Chinese owners, notice they put Chinese, right? Because they're trying to get us to hate Chinese. Chinese owners agreed to spin off their share of the social media platform. Brina goes, it's making the kids so dumb. TikTok has declined to discuss specifics on the matter, but did not dispute recent reports of the divestiture request. If protecting national security is the objective, I got to get out of here. I got a reading to do. What am I doing? I got to go. Love you guys. Got to go. I got work to do. I got work. Baby. Okay. Look at the screen. OnlyFans.com/Tracey Brown Live. Join me. Follow me. And I'll tell you when my first live. I want my first live to be tomorrow. So send in your request. Look at the squiggly line, TraceyBrownLive@gmail. I am your dear Abby for sex. Tell me what your problems are. And let's talk about it. And let's be graphic, because depending upon the topics, YouTube doesn't like it either. So at least we can be graphic on OnlyFans. Okay? We could talk about anything. Anything. In my mind, I'm coming up with all these other topics. So I'm thinking I was going to do a test run tomorrow. I'm thinking. I'll let you know tomorrow. Bye, guys. Love you.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey